coming and support our organization and our cause. I'm very happy to be here. I'm from Houston. To start my presentation, I want to talk about the project that we propose, which is the summer school program. There's two groups of children that we're targeting. I'm going to be talking about them a little bit. So, Dr. Martin Luther King once said, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Our proposed project is 2020-2021 summer school program, and that's where we teach English and we teach success skills for underprivileged children and also ethnic minority children and those that, I don't know, in Vietnamese school we took, up in the mountain area. Next. So the reason why we focus on that, because we observed a phenomenon recently, and that is that Vietnam, like I said, Vietnam economy has been getting better. There's people have jobs. So the children that we used to give scholarship to, the parents now find jobs and they go to factory, they work. But the problem is those are low-paying jobs. So they work from morning till like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Parents leave the children at home. And then you got people who doesn't live in the city, they live in the village, and mom would travel to the city and work for 3 or 4 months at a time. Mom and dad. And the children are left with their grandparents, who basically are too old to take care of them. In the summer, the children have no guidance. They hang out in the street, they get into games, they get into trouble. They basically have no guidance because of the fact that their parents now can find jobs, but with too little money, so they have to work so hard. So we find these children with no guidance, addicted to game, spoiled, and they're not like you guys. You guys are here in America. We have the values, the basic values. You know what is, the values of volunteerism, the values of higher education. You go to college. They don't have any of that. So that's the problem that we see. And so we've got to do something about it. And what we wanted to do was get them, as many of them as possible, together in the summer to teach them. So at least they learn. Teach them English and open their eyes. Teach them how to be successful. Computer skill, presentation skill, how to work in team. Basically open their eyes to a different world. Say there's more to life than this village. So that hopefully we can give them guidance and give direction. And you can see that they get into drugs too. Next please. Though, of course, they lack ethical values and the workforce skill. They don't have any communication skills, which nowadays, in the modern society in Vietnam, that's what they need. Of course, because of the way the education system is in Vietnam, which is based on memorization, they lack ability to think critically and problem solve. So we want to teach them all of that in our summer school. And I'd like to, Dr. Hien is the program director overseeing the summer school for the ethnic minority children. So I'd like for him to talk a little bit about the children there and the problems that we see.
Yeah, thank you for having me and thank you for showing up. The ethnic minority people, they come from a very different culture. Their culture very primitive, and they don't speak Vietnamese. So if they want to move out into mainstream, they have to speak Vietnamese, read Vietnamese, and understand how to do mainstream people. Okay? That's what they need to do. And the government of Vietnam is supposed to do that kind of job, but the vast majority of government officials in Central Thailand, they just basically ignore the problems and let the kids go in there knowing no Vietnamese and Vietnamese school environment and get lost. and they drop out like crazy. So the program, what we try to do here, when it comes to the minority kids in Central Highland, many of them growing up have no job because the job their parents get used to, no holidays. And if they want to be integrated into the mainstream, they don't have the language skill, they don't have minimum education skill. And that's where we try to come in. We say, summertime, we gather you. We have to feed you because if we don't feed them, their parents say, we don't have money to feed them. We have to take them to the mountains to do the work. And we want to go to school, but we cannot afford to feed them in school. So we have to provide breakfast and lunch for them to go to school. And in the evening, they need to get out. Okay? So we go in there, we help them with Vietnamese language for character education and math, because many of them, conceptually, math is something very strange to them. Okay? So we provide what we call remedial education. So when the fall comes, they go back to the Vietnamese run school, they're able to catch up. And we hope we can reduce the dropout rate from maybe 60 to 80% down to maybe 30 to 40% in the villages that we help them. But other villages with nobody help them, and they have to compensate.
Hôm nọ cô dạy ha, luật nhắc lại cô luật vàng là gì nha con Linh.
Không nên làm những gì cho người khác mà mình không muốn người khác làm lại cho mình. mình, nên làm những gì cho người khác mà mình cũng muốn người khác làm lại cho mình.
Very good.